Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel, Motion with Nance. I'm so glad you could make it. And this is the part 4 of the series that I've been doing. I've been doing typography or text animation series, and this is the part 4. And today, this is what we are going to be creating. We are going to be creating this cool, stretchy text intro, whatever it is you want to call it, and I'm pretty sure you're going to have so much fun with this. Please, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you do like, and if you're new to my channel, come on, subscribe already. All right, let's get to it. So I'm going to start by creating composition and make sure that this is 13 frames per second. You can actually use 25 or 24, but this is what I prefer. I'll make this 10 seconds long, and I'm going to name this main, and the background I like to make it pure black, and I'll click OK and OK. So we have our composition. We'll go to text tool, then type in stretch. Make sure this is aligned to the center, paragraphs at the center, then the align is this, and I'm going to make sure that this is all capitalized. So it's already on italics, but I'll make sure it's capitalized and italics, and I can even make it extra bold. But I also like to change the font to Montserrat. I like to use the Montserrat black. I also like to make the text smaller, so let's use 100 as a size. So make sure it's aligned to the center, and let's make it, let's say 120. Okay, I think that works. So let me change the text color to white. Right, so we have our text. So how are we going to create that stretch that we had? So first thing I like to do is to click on the text, then right click. We need to convert this to shape, so not mask but shapes. So I'll click on this, and then we have our stretch outlines. Automatically to hide the text layer and to change everything to shape. So this, I will select this and I'll click on my toggle switches and modes, and I'm just going to share it and then click on the share button here, so I don't have to see it. So I'm going to open this up, open up the content. You can see I have all the text here. So what I would like to do is to extract all of this so they have their own layers, so that we're able to have that control. So what I will do now, I'll click this, and I would like to use this script from Motion Tools for me to do that. So I'm going to select S to C, and I'm just going to come here. They actually have more updated script right now, but that seems just a little bit clunky for me, so I'm sticking with this first one. So yeah, that's just by the way. So I would click on extract, right? Like do that to extract all the letters for me individually, as you can see. So I'll just rename the last one to H. So the next thing I'd like to do is to select the E now, and let me hide the rest of the letters for now. Let me change the color of this to, let's say, yellow, right? So this is actually a script called label script. You can easily just change the color of your layers with one click. If you want to do this, even though you don't have the script, you can just simply click on this and then change the color, right? So that's like a two-way step. All right, so I'll select the E now. I'm going to double tap U, and I'll have access to the path, right? So this is the path of the shape here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to click on the path, and I'm going to go to the 1 second mark, and I'm going to check the path. This is what we're going to use to actually do the stretch, is the path animation we're going to use. We can't afford to use scale or any transform property animation on this, but the path. All right, so I'm going to take the time indicator back, and I'm just going to highlight this side of the letter. So I'm going to click this and then drag to the end. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let me just make sure I'm still clicking it. Drag to this side like this, and I like this, and then click and drag to the end as well. And if I play this is what we have. Give us that stretchy feel, so which is really cool. The next thing I would like to do is I would like to make sure the text, right? Yeah, the many text are actually going to be moving along with that. So how are we going to do that? So there's a native script that comes with After Effects. It's called Create Null from Path Extended. If you cannot find it, go to your Windows, then click on Create Nulls with Path Extended. And with this, you can actually create nulls from the path. So let me quickly hide this again and make sure I have access to this. So what I really need to do to use this now, I'll select the path and I'll come here and click on nulls follow point. As soon as I do that, it will create individual null for all the paths, right? Which is really good. So you can say that all the nulls are actually following the part, which is really good. So what we are going to do, we don't actually need all the nulls, right? So let me see, we actually just need one on this side, need another one on this side. So let me just see to select the ones that are here. So let me delete these two. So right now I just have two nulls, one on the right side and one on the left side. On the one on the left side, let me name it left null, then on the right side, right null. And I'm just going to activate all the texts on the right. Let's start with the right side first. So yeah, these are all the text on the right side. So I'm going to select all these three and I'm going to parent it to the right null the way it is, and I'm going to activate the remaining text here on the left side and I'm going to parent it to the left null. What that will do is it will actually follow the animation, and that's how you create the stretch animation, which is really cool. So I'll put this here. So what I like to do is to highlight this now, do easy ease, then go to my graph editor, then I'll just do something like this. Right, something like this. So you should tilt more to the other hand. So let's see how this look. Right, something like that. Let's see again. Right, so I think I'm pretty satisfied with that. So what I really need to do is to copy this keyframe because I want it to animate to the other way again. Then come here and then copy this keyframe and then paste. And then we have this. So what I can do is I like these two keyframes. So in this tutorial, I'll be introducing you guys to some script that I use, and for me to get the exact same easy ease, if I check it, can you see that I have different kind of easy ease going on here, which is not what I want. So and this are actually the same, so it's not going anywhere, but I want this easy ease here to be here as well. So what I would do, I like this easy ease, and then you can see I have easy copy here. It's a very good script for you to just copy your easiest way it is, instead of you applying the same ease over and over again. I'll copy, then I'll align these two keyframes, and then I will paste. And by so doing, if I check, you can see that I have same keyframe that is here. So if I play this now, can see that's all right. So what I would like to do now is to do that flickering whenever they comes together, right? So I'm going to start with the S and I'm going to press T for opacity, and I'm just going to go back a few frames backward here, click on the opacity here, and then I'll go to the one, let's say 1 second mark here. So let me zoom in here, and I'm going to change the opacity to about, let's see, 30%. Then go a little bit forward, change the opacity to about 0. Then at this stage, I just put it randomly and I'll bring back to 0. So if I play, this is what I have, and of course that's not giving some flickering that we want. So you have two ways by which you can do this. So I'm doing it my own way, but the other way is to animate the opacity on each frame. That will give you more control and all, but I actually want to use a better, let's say more of a shortcut. So I'm going to highlight all these keyframes that I've done here, and I'll go to the windows and I'm going to bring out the wiggler. The wiggler script is actually a native script from After Effects. So this is it. I'm going to highlight all of this. I'm going to change this to jagged, make sure it's on jagged, and increase the frequency quite a lot. Let's say to 100, and the magnitude to, let's say, to about 170. And now I'm going to click apply. Make sure all the keyframes are light, and I click apply, and then it's going to formulate some animation for you automatically. So if I zoom out and I play this now, can you see it flickers? So it does all the hard work for you, right? And which is what I'm practically going to do to the rest of the shape too. But I'm going to try and do it randomly so that they will not have the same flickering. So let's get to it. So I've been able to apply all the flickering on all the text, and what I did was to make sure that the last text, the first and last text, are the one that flicker last. Yes, so we are done with the flickering. We need to move on to the next thing. So what I would like to do now is to highlight all of this, recompose it. Shift Ctrl C is the shortcut for that, and I'll name this stretch text, and I'll click OK. And here you go, we have this here. So now I want to create the background and all the elements that we can see in the example. So what I'll do is to right click, go to new, create a solid, and I'm going to name this BG, which is background, and I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to bring this down. I can hide my text for now so I can focus on this. So I'm going to add an effect called for color gradient. I'm using FX Control from Video Copilot. So I'll click on my background and I'm going to start changing the color. So for the first one, I think I'll leave it at yellow. For the second one, I would like to use a blue color. So I'm imputing a specific color code for this. Alright, I'll click OK. And for the third color, I think I can default color, it works for me, and I think the blue also works as well. So these are the colors I'm going to be using, but I'm just going to kind of rearrange them a little bit. So I'm going to take the yellow to somewhere here, then this drag somewhere here, then the pink should be, let's say here, let's say somewhere here, and drag this blue out so it will really blend. Drag the yellow out more, and I have this kind of cool blending, right? And I can increase the jitter so that it will really blend much more, increase that to 100%. So that's my background, and I'll go back to my text, and I have this. So one other thing I like to do, I would like this to have a little bit of some glow when it is out like this. So I'll go in and I'll click on my stretch text. I'll click Q so I can see the animated keyframe, and I would add an effect called deep glow. If you don't have deep glow, you can always use the normal glow and just duplicate it. You get exact same results, and with this you can see that this is really blown out. So what I would do, I'll change the exposure to 0.5, and now we have something decent that we can work with. So I'll take my time to get up to the begin, then click on the exposure, then go to the next keyframe here, and I'll reduce this to 0 so there will not be any form of exposure at all on it. And I'm practically just going to copy and paste this keyframe. So I'm just going to align this. So instead of me copy and paste, I can just align these two keyframe, come to my next keyframe, and make use of my motion tools, and I'm going to use the clone. I'll hold down shift so that I can duplicate and then reverse it. So after doing that, you can just leave it on the linear keyframe, which works fine for this. And I'm just going to go back by clicking on the tab, and if I take this back, you can see I have this cool thing going on here. Right now you can see that there was a way it started, like there was this distortion, and that's what we're about to do. So I'm going to create a new adjustment layer, and I'm going to name this optical compensation. So I'll just name it OC, and then I'll click this, then add an effect called optical compensation, and I'll take my time gator back from the beginning. Maybe we should start from 1 second first, and I'm going to set the field of view as 0. Then I'll take this back, and I'm going to increase the field of view to 180. And then of course it will look weird. It's going to wrap it this way, which is not what we want. For you it might look cool, but for me it's not. So what I need to do is to just click on reverse lens distortion, and by that it's going to just wrap it just like this, right? Which is really cool. Before we go on, I'd like to change my color bitrate to 16 so we can have best of the colors. So I'll hold down Alt and click, and making 16 bits, and then with that we can have more color accuracy. With that, I think I can still go forward a little bit, then do the same copy and paste technique here, because the reversal animation still does the same, right? So what I really need to do now, I'll go into my stretch and I'll align this keyframe. I'll copy the ease just the way it is, right? Like this. Copy. So this is the ease I want to use on my optical compensation. So I'll go back, and then I'll highlight all of this, and then I'll paste this, and with this you are sure to have consistent animation. So this is what we have, right? So if you stop here in this tutorial, you're actually good, but then we can learn to just push things further, make things look more professional, right? So let's do that. So I would like to create another adjustment layer, and I'm going to name this zoom, and I'm going to click this, and I'm going to add the transform effect on this, and I'll take the time indicator to the beginning. I'm going to check the scale, and I'm going to change the value here to 150, and I'm going to go to maybe about 15 frames in, select this, change the value to 100, and go straight to the last frame here. Press U. You can just copy and paste the keyframe, right? And I like this. Easy ease. The shortcut for that is F9. Go to my graph editor, and I can do something like this, right? So let's play. Let's see what we'll have. So we have this subtle animation, right, which is really cool. So one thing I like to do to create more contrast with the background, I'll add a color correction to it. So I'll add curves, right, and I'm just going to drag the mid-tone down so it to be darker, right? Something like this would do, right? So we're having more contrast. So one last thing that I did to give this text some depth is to add CC glass to it. CC glass. And this just happened because I was just trying to experiment more, right? And when I saw this, I was like, okay, I think this looks cool. I don't even need to do anything more to this, and it gives you this cartoon feel with a little bit of some depth. You can see a little tiny bit of highlight there and there. And with this, I was just like, okay, I think this really looks cool. I'm going to stick with this. And then the last thing that I did was to create a black solid. I'm going to call these bars, and make sure that this is on top of everything. Click on my shape tool, the rectangle tool, and do something like this, then invert it, then increase the feathering quite a lot, something like this. Then I'll reduce the opacity to, let's say, to about 60%. And by so doing this, we have our animation, right? I think it might be too strong. The bars might be too strong. So what I can do is I can just distort it a little bit, stretch it up like this, right? And then still reduce the opacity to about, let's say, 40%, so the text can really come alive. So with this is what we have. Alright, we've come to the end of the tutorial. I really hope you do enjoy this. If you do, please let me know in the comment section. And please, if you are new to my channel, make sure you do subscribe. And if you have any tutorial requests, let me know. This is the second to the last part of this series that I've been doing. You can see that I kind of really push it a little bit further in this particular tutorial, because the next one is actually going to be something more complex too than the simple ones that we've been doing. And I really hope you've been learning quite a lot. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.